Hello and welcome. I'm Maloni Bhatt. You're watching MSME Talks, part of ET MSME Awards 2022. Now, one of the big challenges for Indian MSMEs is how do they become competitive globally? MSMEs, as we all know, are big drivers of the economy, contributing to employment and revenue. However, nearly 99% of India's MSMEs are micro enterprises and remain so throughout their life cycle. To be globally competitive, how can these small businesses adopt and leverage technology, build brands, especially if one of the big basic challenges they face is access to credit? How can we create an environment to build sustainable and profitable business? To discuss this and more, I have with me Dr. S. Glory Swarupa, Director General, National Institute for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Welcome, Dr. Swarupa.
Yeah, thank you.
We have with us Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya. He is the Director, Department of Entrepreneurship Education from the Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India. Welcome, Dr. Acharya.
Yeah, Pam. I think it's a very good topic to discuss on what is going to happen to the micro enterprises of India. It's such a challenging situation. I think certainly we'll try to continue.
It's good to have you with us here, sir. And we have with us Mr. Animesh Saxena, Chairman, Policy Committee, and immediate past President, Federation of Indian Micro and Small and Medium Enterprises. Good to have you with us here, sir.
Thank you, Miloni. It is always a pleasure.
So it's our pleasure to have you. And, I'll just get right into it. And I would like to begin with you, Mr. Saxena. Give us the big picture. According to World Bank reports, the MSME sector in Asia, Africa, and Middle East together contributes over 35% of global economic activity. Contribution to employment is over 60%. Now, how do you see India's MSME sector shaping up in the global context when it comes to MSMEs? What do you think we're doing right, and where is the space for us to improve?
You see, if you look at what we are doing right, because the kind of population we have in our country and the youth population, especially from 25 to 35, the biggest in the world right now. And as you know, the jobs in the organized sectors are shrinking, and government and organized sector both are shrinking. Organized sector mostly going for automation. So they require very high skilled jobs. And the kind of education structure, unfortunately, we had in our country, the skill level is very, very poor. Our education system was not skill oriented. So how to get those people in a meaningful employment? So MSME is the only sector where these people can be absorbed without much high level of skill. And that was the reason also, I think the government, the current government realized this potential and started a lot of skilling initiatives. What is happening apart from this, the jobs, the the entrepreneurship with the micro, when you see the large number of out of the 6 crore MSME in our country, 99% are in the large sector. Oh, sorry, in the micro sector, because it is easy for a person to start something on her or his own and employ 2 or 3, 4, 5 people and start working on this. So that was the positive side of this, that we have a huge population, we have the opportunity. But then there are certain things which we are not doing right. The things we are not doing right is probably, the support system. All the government schemes are too bureaucratic and a lot of time consuming and paper centric, information centric, where the biggest issue, the trust deficit. If any young person wants to start something, goes to a government department or anywhere, there's a huge trust deficit on that question. First, you have to prove your bona fide, and then do a lot of paperwork. And the person, sometime with the education level or other issues, not very, comfortable in meeting those. So these are the things which we are not doing right. Plus the, access to the technology and better skill and training kind of thing. What is happening? The technology is changing so fast. And most of the MSMEs, they're working still on the obsolete and outdated technologies. and they are not following the right production processes also. So the cost of production is high, quality is not that great. So, and the future of any industry, manufacturing industry in the world is part of the global value chain. And India is so far not able to tap this potential of this GVCs. And primary reason is the cost of production and the technology and the quality, these three issues. So these are the major issues which are not doing right and which we have the advantage.
Right. So there is an opportunity as well here. And in fact, you just opened the conversation for Dr. Swarupa and for Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya, to chime in, because both of them head organizations which are enablers, for MSMEs. Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya, you work primarily with the micro enterprises. And Mr. Saxena just said that, most of these micro MSMEs tend to remain micro throughout their life cycle with limited resources. And, he's spoken about how there are hurdles when it comes to growth. What is your view?
Yeah, perfect. I think for me, I think there are chunk of them is micro enterprise. That's perfect. But how those entrepreneurs are created? Are they just have gone through some of this opportunity and find out that the local resources are available, I'm starting a business, or there's a structured input is available. These are the opportunities available in this area and you can start working on it. There is a substantial gap in terms of that knowledge content, that what are the opportunity which can be worked out in this location or in a different location. We could have a standardized process, something like we are going towards ODOP in most of the states right now. UP has done good work. Others are also doing great work. So if that type of structure is available, what are the different opportunities that we can work as a structured knowledge or content is available? If there is an automobile hub is there, automobile bigger companies are coming, what are the ancillary units they may be expecting at a point of time? So that structured information need to be provided to the people. Next is that's a part of the market access in terms of business opportunities. We talked about technology availability. A large chunk of research is already there. We have some of this national organizations which are providing support in terms of technology commercialization, but technology commercialization for small and typically micro enterprises. What are the technology which can be operative in that scale level? If those things can be provided at a structured knowledge, see somebody is looking into operate a small manufacturing unit, let's say pet bottle unit, what are the different type of a newer technology, newer products, newer thing that they can do? So if those structures are available, so they can certainly go and access those content and work it out. So we may have research in our most of this research laboratories, but those laboratory research is actually not going towards the business process and more so for small enterprises. So what type of technology they can adopt at the small thing. Another support that I'm more interested is the handholding and mentoring, which is very much essential. I think we are right now across India in terms of incubators, which is the startups incubators that we have. We have so many incubators right now, and everywhere we are trying to support with the technology enabled and startup focus thing. I think there's a similar support structure at the district level, at the block level is required for micro enterprises to grow so that they can see what this opportunity, what are the bigger picture, how they can diversify, what are the different sources where they can try it out, what are the different sources of funding or support of marketing is available. They need to go and access. And that's a non-financial business development services and support by obviously credit. I think credit is a big challenge that we can discuss it.
All right. But, from what you're saying, it almost seems like, these micro enterprises tend to remain micro throughout, their life cycle, and the opportunity for growth may be there, but they're just not able to kind of, reach out and sort of grab those opportunities for themselves. Dr. Swarupa, your view?
And I fully agree with my co-panelists. So the views expressed, the challenges being experienced. But now we are in the post-COVID era. Earlier, we used to talk, before independence, after independence. But now we talk about, before COVID and after COVID life. There is a lot of potential. No doubt we lost and we went back also. Okay. But there is a lot of potential, like, as rightly pointed out by Dr. Acharya, we are in the season of innovations. And very recently, the innovation rank is announced in the Global Innovation Index for India. It is 43. Very, very encouraging. So otherwise we were after 50. So even Her Excellency President has announced this. That gives great confidence for all of us. And we are in this season. A lot of emphasis, thrust is given to encourage the science and technology community, to come out with innovations and to make India Atmanirbhar. So we are doing a lot of capacity building for the teaching fraternity again, science, technology, management, and allied institutions and universities, even across agriculture universities also, fisheries universities, polytechnic institutions we are building. Unless a faculty is equipped with the information, knowledge, and skills about entrepreneurship, they cannot help the student community. So we have been doing that. So this is one very potential area. We can very much progress, and we can show the development. And another important thing is, a promise was, we are marching towards 5 trillion economy. Out of that, a promise was made from our ministry that 3 trillion would come from MSME ministry, because we are the economic engine, and we drive all these things, whether GDP, exports, anything. So we are very seriously working on that. And someone was mentioned about ODOP. So our institution was the pioneer to do that in the year 1819 for government of Uttar Pradesh. In 10 districts, 10 products were identified, and now it is going on across the country, identifying the potential raw material which could become a very good product or a service to go to the states across and global market. For this, there is already a system in place from our ministry and Ministry of Rural Development. So we have been catering to the needs, but I want to emphasize on 2 important things. That is our youth population. For that, this innovation should help them and trigger them to become, self-employed people instead of looking for job opportunities. And second important segment is women. When we look at the sample survey or in a statistic census, it is 51% in our country, the population of women. But in MSME sector, it is only 18%. The enterprises registered are on women name are only 18%. So if we double the number of women entrepreneurs, or wherever the production or activities, enterprising activities taken up by women, if it is enhanced, I think definitely the target of 3 trillion or 5 trillion we can reach. And we cannot do away with these problems in India. We cannot, do away with the challenges. We can always handle, and there are solutions for all these problems. And definitely we can be, from that 5th position in the global economy, we can always reach, first or second position. And I am hopeful, and we are working for that.
You raised a very interesting point, Dr. Swarupa, about women entrepreneurship and the number of MSMEs registered under women. How do we increase, that number? And I'd like all of the panelists, to give in their views on, how are we enabling?
Okay, let me initiate. I'm just working with various artisans and group in the cottage industry where 70 to 80% of the work is being done by the women members. Typically, they are the women as one of the biggest group through which we typically work and design products and sell in the marketplace. Still now, the family support, the first thing that we require for the women entrepreneurship, whether at a block level or a village level or at a city level, everywhere, we need the community or the support in the family to the women entrepreneur. Women entrepreneur require a substantial support beyond in that close group of people who can provide the requisite amount of support. The rest of the motivation can be given or the market can provide it. So first, support is community requires the support. Second, we need to provide I think where I talked about the right set of information, where they can work, what is the type of business ideas, where they can contribute. There are certain things where they are certainly very good at. And managing finance, there are so many resource set, what are the different areas that are comfortable. So if you can identify those areas and with the support of the community and the group, if we can handle and mentor them in terms of right technology and right set of products, I think we can create more number of women entrepreneurs and they can perform substantially better and contribute not only to the family and but also the local economy.
All right. Mr. Saxena, from FISME's perspective, what are the issues that you see when it comes to women who want to set up businesses. Some of them were sketched out by Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya. But, what are the issues on the ground level as well that, you've encountered or you've seen women encounter?
If you see the pan-India, the social norms are different. And you have to keep in mind, and you cannot, do away with that easily. And there are a lot of geographical areas where the women are not allowed to go out. And traditionally, they have been confined, and their role is confined to be a homemaker only. And the men have to support the family. In certain areas, these norms are liberal, especially in Northeast, you see the women are more on the workplace than the men. And in South, they are liberal. I mean, there are no such restriction or resistance from the society. But if you come to the North, the Western Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, the resistance is very, very high for a woman trying to do something on her own. Second thing, most of the cases we have noticed the women, when they came into entrepreneurship or doing something, it was largely when the income was not enough in the family. Either the husband was not able to earn more, or husband was not there, or something like that. And then they were forced to do that. And they set up an example also for others to follow. So there has to be two ways of, the agent of change. Like Dr. Acharya suggested that the mentoring, this wonderful suggestion, and you have to create some agents of change for that. And it has to come from probably from the school when you are in the 10th or 12th standard, teaching them some vocational things and skills, and then give them some hand holding, how they can be self-dependent. I mean, if they are not even going for higher education because of their not availability of a good institute nearby or the financial reasons, with this education also and with this vocational courses or some skill, they can do something on their own without disturbing the social norms of that area. So these agent of change has to come from at a school level, some counselors there, some mentoring there. And this could be the reason. And plus, the government is doing a lot. A lot of money is being spent. And most of the scheme, Dr. Swarupa will vouch for that. They provide you additional incentive when it's a woman entrepreneur. But the problem is, announcing something and in the paper something and making this change at the ground level. The people, India had a very robust system of industrialization when they had a district industry center. All over the country, you will find district industry center. But unfortunately, over the period of time, they have become a typical government organization where to extract something, extracting information is a challenge. Forget about the hand holding or advice. So they have to be sensitized that how they can go to the schools or the societies and tell them some, these micro projects where the women, they can handle their household responsibilities as well as do something in their spare time and support the family income. So these are probably what at a FISME we felt. These are the, agents of change.
Yeah. Dr. Swarupa, would you like to respond to what Mr. Animesh Saxena pointed out, where the district level organizations, are not being facilitators and not enabling, but rather kind of, preventing the rise, so to speak, would you say?
Of course, there's a district industry centers. They are under the authority of Commissioner or Director of Industries in every state. And actually, they were the brainchild of this institution. In 1970, they have been established by the policy from this institute. They have become, a typical government setup, and their mandate was not being achieved, what they were supposed to do for the local community development or industrial development. So this institute has done a study for Odisha government. So revamping and re-engineering of these DICs. So how do they, restructure themselves and reorient themselves and reach the people for the development and of the state. And I'm very happy to share with you on June 30th, when PM was, addressing this Udyam Bharat program, There were some awards. Okay, we are also in the process of these awards. And Odisha stood first as a state, for their growth. Otherwise, always UP, Haryana, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, they were leading. But we were very happy with that interventions, Odisha, they bagged the first prize. Now we are taking up similar study for all Northeastern states. So we have Northeastern Council. Secretary General was very positive, very considerate. We have submitted because rightly mentioned by, Mr. Saxena, the social system, how it works in Northeast. So women taking a forefront, a lot of responsibilities to take the burden of the family, responsibility of the family. So to cater to even the woman, whoever is, taking overburdened, to help them with this marketing, availing the schemes, getting the financial assistance, all that, the officers. So their attitude has to be changed and they have to be updated with the knowledge, information, and they should be exposed to mainland. So how, the industry is functioning, country is moving ahead. So I think soon we will come out with a formula for that. And I have something else also to share. So it is not only the responsibility of the DIC, the highest office in every state, starting from Governor House to the lowest, to a SHG group or a petty shop, government school, everywhere. It should be a movement, then it can happen. I want to share a case study. So actually we have taken a call during COVID, doubling the number of women entrepreneurs from 18 to at least 25, if not 36, at least 25 by 2025. Okay, we have long-term goals for, our 100 years of independence. Likewise, 2030, 2025, we have so many short-term goals also. So we have taken up, and Governor House in Jammu Kashmir responded very positively. We have organized a program called Hosla, and they identified the women who are into small businesses, and we have provided them the coaching and most importantly, this mentoring. Mentoring we did for 3 months, more than 3 months we did it. And we have put precisely, I think, 118 women online with Amazon, with the financial assistance from JK Bank. Because there are instructions from Governor House, all these people responded very positively. And as a team, we worked, and now they're making their all some handicrafts, their honey, their pashminas, everything online market they are doing. So likewise, if all the good offices and, powerful offices, if they join this mission, I think definitely we'll achieve this. So
no, it's great to know that, we want to increase the number of women-led enterprises. Dr. Swarupa, to you again, the reason why the services sector has so far attracted more FDI than manufacturing is because there is this availability of skilled labor. India needs to address the skill deficit in manufacturing to benefit from the, sentiments which are driving decisions around global trade. In your view, how can we upskill?
There is the other side for this service sector also. Maybe you are referring to IT. That's why you are telling the skilled workforce is available, so FDI is coming. But the other side, we have community-based occupations. Okay, like most of the services, repairs, maintenance, starting from the salons, haircutting salons, those were all service, community-based occupations. So they're all in the unorganized sector. So nobody is investing for them. And rather, these occupations are slowly being taken over by other community people. There is nothing wrong. Everybody in India can do that business. See, the classic example is Javed Habib. Okay. So we have, again, did a study inviting him. This institution has done 4 or 5 years ago. So if that community, they say that Nai Brahmin community, if they are given an opportunity to get registered on the Udyam portal of Ministry of MSME and given a financial assistance, so every petty shop, there's a saloon, can become a studio like Javed Habib with that international, the tools and the etiquettes. So how to deal with the customer, how to treat them, and with international styles are changing times in India. are suit to the occasions, social gatherings. If we serve the customers, if we equip these people, see, anything you want to do, dollar, rupee is required to change the outlook of the, the saloon, the shop, all this. So if that is provided, then definitely, the investment will also come into this kind of services. And another important thing is, if we have to cater to the needs of all the sectors, whether it is organized, unorganized, manufacturing, service, everything, the student community, that is the most potential group we are depending on today and looking at. They have to be equipped with the skills on business and on entrepreneurship. That is very, very important. We don't have a module in curriculum of many universities, most of the universities. So it should be made compulsory in every curriculum in all the universities. Then I think we need not search here and there. So we have, in all areas, with youngsters, with energy, with enthusiasm, to cater to all the sectors in our country.
All right. Okay. Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya, I wanted to speak about supply chains and, get your view on this. We're hearing about global organizations wanting to move the deep supply chains out of China and relocate to India.
Yeah.
You work primarily with the micro enterprises. This is definitely not a space, for them. But from your vantage, can you give us a sense of this opportunity? Because it is an opportunity, and how do you see us being able to capitalize on it? And after Dr. Acharya, Mr. Saxena, if you could give me your viewpoints as well.
Yeah. So in supply chain, there is lot many things as changing. Let's talk about very simple, like the pesticides, that chemical pesticides we are using, and all in a sudden there is a issue with the importing of those products from China to India, and then India government has come out with some regulations. These type of information, that which are the different areas where we can create as an alternative to the Chinese as a marketplace, and what can be the other product? If it is not chemical fertilizers, can it be biofertilizers? Can it be any other forms of fertilizers which can supplement those things? So that is a substantial amount of knowledge content is required. So whenever there is a supply chain disruption or something is, we are looking into an opportunity, we need to provide this opportunity, understanding about this opportunity to our people around who are currently working. So I think previously ma'am was talking about the education system and the students were there. So we have lot many students, they are not getting the right set of opportunity to go and check it out, how they can, if they are having certain amount of knowledge and skill, they understand how AI is operating, how digital marketing is operating. They are not getting opportunity in terms of going towards to the small and micro enterprises and talking to them and trying to solve their problem as an intern or working with them for 15 days or a month or something. So one way we need to provide input to our micro enterprises to understand how the global supply chain or what's this opportunity is coming, and how they can also improve their skill set so they can be more competitive in marketplace. So there we have a large chunk of student base who are all doing fabulous work in terms of technology. We have lot many engineering and technology and other students who understand this technology. Can you create a whole structure by which these people can go and start supporting those people? At least they can get an idea how the industry is operating, and similarly the people who are in the market, they can also understand how they can use the technology at this point of time. So that is something which you can work it out. And this whole knowledge content which I'm more interested is that how it can be available to the people at the regional or local languages. Something like, if I'm working on something and there is an opportunity is coming, can this whole concept can be provided to me in my local language and can be explained to me in my particular format so that I can work on this. So what are this opportunity which has been created, and with this opportunity, what are the other structure or support or let's say technology skill, whatever is required, how that can be provided. And third, the requisite level of funding which can be provided. If we can work on all those three broad elements, we can certainly create max benefit out of this opportunity which are coming to ourselves. And this benefit can be passed on to our small and medium enterprises.
Right. So you're essentially talking about a 360-degree support, especially to the micro enterprises. So we are able to lift them up, and then they are also able to take, advantage.
They can become competitive. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Mr. Saxena, your thoughts?
You see, first we have to understand the model of the GVC, a global value chain. Global value chain typically works or the best advantage available where? Like raw material is coming from one place where it is the available in a better quality and a better price. Manufacturing is happening at some different country, and the finished product is being sold at some other markets. So there has to be a very, seamless connectivity in all these three processes. And government regulations and rules also play a big role in these things of a smooth connectivity. Why China was successful, a lot of study has been done because they created a seamless model of, movement of the goods and logistics. Unfortunately, in our country, this was missing, and the government started working on it, but still there are huge gaps in that. And for GBC, the micros are not suitable. They probably will not be able to take advantage of that. It is only open for small and medium enterprises. People who are a bit more organized. What happens typically, you see the micro, they work from non-conforming areas, from residential areas, other things. The small and medium mostly work in a conforming area, the industrial estates and other things. And for part of the GVC, they'll definitely expect you to work in a proper organized workplace. Second thing is raw material. If I'm as a manufacturer, I'm a converter. I'm getting raw material being sourced. And what is happening in GVC? Most of your buyers, they nominate you the raw material sources that you have to buy so that the consistency is there. And still in our country, the import regime for raw material is not a business conducive. It's not business friendly. And there have been some, I have no hesitation in saying that, lopsided policies of the government, where they promoted the lesser duty on the finished goods import in India and a higher duty to protect the raw material manufacturers in the country, and restriction and higher duties on the import of raw material. And that was a lopsided policy, and which damaged the prospects of the small scale, especially to be part of the GVC. You must have seen the steel prices. What happened in India? We were 40 to 60% expensive than the international steel prices. How a small and medium enterprise can survive in buying the the locally produced steel at that price and still compete in the international market? So that government has to work in a seamless model, and to reach to 5 trillion economy, which Honorable Prime Minister has given, export is the only option to reach to that level within that time frame. And for exports, you have to be part of GVC. Otherwise, you cannot do that. So first, it has to be a seamless connectivity and very friendly import regime for importing the raw material and exporting the finished product out of India by adding value in that. The second thing is the technology support. At a FISME, we are doing I'll share with you a good initiative. We came across with a lot of small scale manufacturers from Korea. Korea, they felt the market is saturated and it is expensive to operate in Korea. The cost of living was very high. They felt there's a lot of opportunity in India, but for them on their own coming to India and setting up a shop here with this approval hassles and the time taking, it was not feasible for a small scale industry. So their association of the small scale is signing an MOU with FISME in this next 2 weeks time, where we will do the matchmaking. Some SME from Korea, which is Korea is, the technology wise, they are very, very good. So we will do the matchmaking. An Indian SME collaborating with the Korean SME, transfer of technology, transfer of knowledge, and our expertise here with the low cost of manufacturing. And then we become a enterprise where we export to the markets abroad. So we are thinking that this could be a good start for SMEs here and a good example. So these are the challenges which we are facing to become a part of GVC, and something has to be done at that level.
All right. Dr. Swarupa, I'd like your viewpoint. Now, one of the major reasons, and, Mr. Saxena has mentioned it, that China was able to become an industrial powerhouse was due to this large success of the number of coastal special economic zones with enabling regulations, tax benefits, duty-free imports and attracting foreign capital and technology, which was set up by the government, some of which were mentioned by Mr. Saxena. Now, what needs to be done to expand India's economic hubs, beyond the tier one?
I think I'm not the right person to answer this. Okay, but anyway, I will just like to share a few things. Yeah, our import duty, it is very, very high. So that definitely discourages, most of the entrepreneurs who are very seasoned, who are doing good business. Even they are discouraged. A simple example, let me tell you, because 2 days ago we had, very good one-to-one meeting with, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Piyush Goyal, and we have invited a few entrepreneurs. So one of the entrepreneur who was processing cocoa, he was mentioning the same thing actually. See, in Asia, the chocolate production by Singapore and Malaysia, it is much, much higher than, I can't remember the statistics, that's why, much higher than India. India is such a big country, and we are also growing cocoa, not all over the country because of agroclimatic conditions. I think southern parts only, Kerala and some parts of Andhra Pradesh, it is grown. Largely we have to import. The import duty is very high. That's why our chocolate prices are high. And, of course, all, tiny micro entrepreneurs, they cannot afford to manufacture this because of technology. That is another thing. So only we have 2-3, good manufacturers. Of course, the brands, they are wrapping and they are marketing it. Either our farmers has to be encouraged to go wherever conducive the soil and water, other climatic conditions are suitable to take up this cocoa production, or maybe from that Ministry of Agriculture or whoever the department dealing with, to bring in the high yielding varieties, or to increase the production and productivity, so that our production is more, and we do more food processing related to that is chocolate, or the import duty has to be reduced. He was mentioning that our entrepreneur is very, very senior. I think he's one of the number 2 or number 3 in the country for this production, manufacturing of chocolates. Singapore, it is no duty. Malaysia also almost same. That's how they are importing, and they're making a lot of chocolates, and they're supplying to the world. And they don't grow cocoa. There is no cocoa cultivation in their country. So this is the situation. And one small thing I want to mention, like we also do a lot of cluster development activities, artisans, rural women, farmers, everybody. Regarding this, Mr. Saxena mentioning about, continuous supply of raw material. So initially we support them to get, first batch or second batch production or first quarter, something like that. Afterwards, they're jobless. So they don't want to go and search for the raw material, make it a continuous, activity for their production. That is not happening. Again and again, they're looking for government only, looking at government for this, supply of raw material. We do have NSIC, that is the sister concern organization under Ministry, National Small Industries Corporation. But largely they are dealing with engineering, electronics, electrical, that kind of commodities only. But if you look at these artisans like handlooms, handicrafts, other products, rural based, raw material supply is very, very challenging for them.
This is now my last question to all of you. If there was just 2 things that perhaps your organizations or, want to focus on to make Indian MSMEs globally competitive, technologically as well, what would be those 2 things? Dr. Swarupa, maybe you can begin, and then we can go around the table with Mr. Saxena, and then maybe Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya can have the last word.
Yeah, the first thing is awareness. So it is very much lacking actually, awareness. So we are a 60-year-old organization established in Hyderabad by Ministry. We completed Diamond Jubilee, but most of the learned population in Hyderabad, they don't know about our institute. I don't know, it is our problem or their problem. Likewise, the good schemes implemented, the system in place, the support mechanism extended by not only our ministry, various other line ministries, which are promoting, the business development, management, that is not known to the common public. So where to go, how to do, what to do, when to do, whom to approach, this is totally missing. There is a lot of gap that has to be plugged. We have a lot of technology in India that is again not reaching to the people. And simultaneously, financial institutions has to be empowered, whatever schemes are being released, because we worked with various ministries. Ministry of Fisheries, they have released one very good scheme for fisheries, Matsya Sampada Yojana. It was, I think, announced during 2018. Only 43 takers for that scheme across the country. We have one of the longest coastline in India. Okay, among other nations, only 43 takers. And I think that scheme they are going to close down because there are no takers, because there is no awareness and how to implement. All that mechanism is, missing. So I think everybody should make their efforts to grab the opportunities, to get the information, and financial institutions also to be, empowered with the information. Scheme is announced, but they don't know. So that's why they are very much apprehensive to extend the assistance. So I think the convergence is required and proactiveness is required. And most importantly, our youth, they should think that they should not work under somebody. They should not become job seekers. They should become the job providers, job generators, or job creators.
All right.
I
Okay.
conclude here.
All right. All right. Dr. Swarupa, those are very encouraging words. But also, you pointed out to the deep-seated problems that Indian MSMEs face. And I think, the awareness issue, that is a failure at multiple levels. Mr. Saxena, your response to this.
Definitely, I agree with Dr. Swarupa that awareness and probably the facilitators. If even you're aware of this particular scheme, but how to get advantage of that scheme. And as I said, the most of the, when you deal with the government entity, they have a certain, way of working. So facilitator, I'll take a minute more. One good example, which we have noticed in Haryana, the Haryana government, the MSME, first they segregated MSME from the industry department. They created a dedicated MSME divisions, and that brought better results. Second issue, they roped in ENY, this agency, to promote their schemes and do the hand holding. They even come and help you to fill up the form also, if something has to be required. And this was a game changer. The lot of schemes where there were no takers, as Madam told, that 43 takers pan-India. Yeah. In Haryana also, there were wonderful schemes in MSME, the financial support for technology upgradation, other things. And with this, their hand-holding, their creating awareness events, the number of, takers, they jumped, a very high number of that. So that could be one of the solutions where the government has to rope in some, facilitators to promote this scheme. The second thing is our attitude as a manufacturer towards the quality and the time-bound commitments. What is happening if you want to be part of an organized value chain, either global or even domestic? Quality has to be as per the standard. We have an habit of in India, chalta hai attitude, where we are willing to pass on the defective or not perfect goods and acceptance of that also. So this culture needs to be changed now. That whatever you show as a sample, your production should also match that. This should be the attitude. Second, the commitment. Like everyone these days in a value chain works on a time commitment. And all your logistics are planned that way, because most of this everything is now getting digital, where you feed in the system that the goods would be walking in at this time, exiting at this moment, and everything is planned. The, human intervention is getting less and less. So our commitment, unfortunately, in our manufacturing processes, we have a lot of uncertainties. The festivals and disruptions and strikes and road jams, all these things. And so, and weather also sometime, the God also doesn't help you sometime. So all these things they create, and this leaves a very, very bad, impression, plus interruption in their supply chain. So these two things, apart from which Madam has said, rightly she has said, if these two things we have to work on our working internal system, probably that is the key.
It's a long road, right, Mr. Saxena? And Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya, hearing all of you speak right from the issues of awareness that, Dr. Swarupa said that need to be sort of sorted out. Then, understanding of the schemes, the offtake of the schemes, the attitude of MSMEs
Attitude.
towards their own processes, deliveries and stuff like that. Our topic was building globally competitive MSMEs. But the road seems really long and riddled with a lot of issues.
Yeah, I think we discussed about obviously from the awareness part to the knowledge part in terms of knowledge about raw material bank, like how the raw materials, where is the available, where the technology available, who can be the mentors who can look for the matchmaking. We have given so many examples, Saxena sir was given. And also obviously finance and professional behavior. But one part which I'm also interested across, what we can talk about, how we're going to accept failure. As an entrepreneur or let's say startup or an SME or whatever, for us that if something is happening and I'm finding some issue, I'm finding it's a failure and we all saying there is a failure, but failure has substantial amount of interpretation that it can give us to go for the next step. So if you want to globally competitive, all of us need to experiment with small ideas. It's not just about some group, some community, some person at a part of India is going to work about business ideas or business process or something. It is majority of the people should start experimenting in some form of business, some form of value creation, some of our products and services. Out of them, some may get success, some may get failure, but that failure will help them to go for the next one. So if you can broad base this experimentation to work on ideas, what product services that you can produce, not only for the local market, for the global market, where we can fit ourselves to the global supply system or global value chain, I think that can give us a huge chunk of supply of entrepreneurs, people who are interested to work in this community. Some of them may get success, some of them get failure, but that is certainly going to contribute a chunk of new business, newer ideas, newer processes to our economy.
All right. Okay. On that note, Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya, that's a positive note for us to end on. Let's find the opportunities, let's get enterprising, go for it and try and be globally competitive. Dr. Satya Ranjan Acharya, Dr. Laurie Swarupa, and Mr. Animesh Saxena, thank you so very much for your thoughts and for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, ma'am.